Hello and welcome to Rathods Science Academy. Today in this session, we are going to see current affairs of 16th July 2024. So here I am taking Delhi edition of Hindu. So you can follow whichever edition you are having. But you have to focus on two important things in your preparation. First one, it is your UPSC syllabus. So always keep your syllabus with you and focus on your syllabus. And second one is your previous year's questions. So both prelims and mains you have to see after one subject is done so that you will be in a right way. Okay. So you have to focus on these two until you get your selection. So they have to be with you. Okay. And now let us see the front page. So you can see one important article here. Title says Supreme Court to hear petitions against passing laws as money bills. So what is the keyword here? So one is Supreme Court and another is money bill, right? Okay. So I'll give you the dimensions that you have to focus. First let us write about this money bill. So from which topic we can connect this? GS paper 2, polity. So in polity you have this topic called as parliament, right? So in this parliament we have this topic of passage of bills. So here you have to focus on first one, types of bills. So tell me how many types of there? Yes, types of bills. First one is ordinary bill. We have money bill. We have financial bill. And we have constitution amendment bill. So in the passage of these bills, for some bills, Lok Sabha is equal to Rajya Sabha. That means the power of Lok Sabha is equal to Rajya Sabha in case of this ordinary bill. But in case of money bill, Lok Sabha which has more power compared to that of Rajya Sabha. So because of this, now our present government is using this money bill as a weapon, and whatever the bill it wants to move, it is passing as a money bill, especially to divert Rajya Sabha. Okay, clear? So here you have to see why the powers of Lok Sabha is more compared to the Rajya Sabha in this money bill. So this will be your prelims question. So in case of money bill, that bill should be introduced only in Lok Sabha. So we can't introduce any money bill in Rajya Sabha. So if once this Lok Sabha is passing this bill and it will be going to this Rajya Sabha, right? So Rajya Sabha cannot reject the bill, but just it can send back for consideration. So this recommendations cannot be accepted by Lok Sabha, right? So because of this, Lok Sabha is having more powers in this money bill. So now central government, if it wants to pass a bill, it is using this money bill and it is passing many bills. So here you have to see what are those examples. Okay, so I will be letting you know, but these are the dimensions you have to see from this article point of view. Okay, so what this article is saying that Supreme Court is going to hear the petitions which are challenges this money bill route used by center to pass amendments. So here this is the way that used by central government to pass many bills as a form of money bill, even though it is not a money bill. So now petitions have been filed in Supreme Court to see regarding this issue, and now Supreme Court is going to see this issue regarding this money bill soon. Because of this is in news. Okay, now if you see and if you see the key points that you have to note from this article is, so whenever we are passing the amendments as money bills, so it will be diverting Rajya Sabha. So it is one of the important question now. So what is the relevance of Rajya Sabha? So whenever central government is trying to pass the major bills in the form of money bill to divert or to override this Lok Sabha, then what is the need of this Rajya Sabha? And even if you see in state legislature, we have two houses in some states and we have single house in some states. For example, in Telangana, we have two houses, but in some states, they have unicameral legislature. In the same way, in the central also, we can have this Lok Sabha only. Why we need Rajya Sabha? So this is the one more question that we have to see. And especially now, Chief Justice is going to take the decision regarding formation of this constitutional bench to resolve this issue. And by this we can understand how much importance that we are giving to this Rajya Sabha. Okay. And next one is understanding the restrictions of this money bill is crucial in determining the validity of passing contentious amendments. So what happened here is if you're passing through this money bill, we can easily divert Rajya Sabha. So if, for example, in Lok Sabha, who will be the major? That will be the ruling party. So whenever they are getting like 50% of present and voting, then that bill can be passed easily. But in Rajya Sabha, opposition party people will be there. So they may, if they are trying to pass that bill as ordinary bill, so Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, they have equal power. And even if there is any bill which is tie between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, we have a concept of joint sitting for ordinary bills. But this money bills, there is no session of this joint session. Okay, that is the one important thing that you have to see. And actually they are now trying to pass this Prevention of Money Laundering Act amendments to this money bill, and this is the one petition which filed in Supreme Court now. Okay, so we have this Prevention of Money Laundering Act, right? So now what is the amendment that we are going to get is, it is giving more powers to this Enforcement Directorate. So if this amendment is passed, means it will be giving more power to this Enforcement Directorate, and especially it will be also focusing on the appointment of these people who are there in under these tribunals, etc. So this is the one important thing. And not only that Prevention of Money Laundering Act, but even we passed this Finance Act of 2017 as a money bill, and also we passed this other Act of 2016 also in the form of money bill. So these are the examples that you have to see. And if you see the facts regarding this money bill, so money bill must be introduced only in Lok Sabha. There is no provision of introducing this money bill in Rajya Sabha. And this Rajya Sabha can only make the recommendations on money bill, but there is no power to reject this bill to Rajya Sabha. And even President also, he can either accept or reject this money bill, but cannot return it for reconsideration. And there is no provision of joint sitting in the case of this money bill. So these are the points, and on these points you can expect a prelims based question. Okay, and I gave one question. See here, which of the following statements regarding this money bill are correct? So money bill can only be introduced in Lok Sabha. Second one is Rajya Sabha cannot amend or reject a money bill but can make the recommendations, but they may or they may not be accepted by Lok Sabha. And next one is the president cannot withhold his assent to the money bill. So which statements are correct? All these three are correct. Answer is 1, 2 and 3. So in this way you can get question. For example, they may say that it can be introduced in Rajya Sabha. If this statement is given, means this statement is wrong, right? So in this way, UPSC will be playing games with the students. Okay, you should be very much careful. Yeah, and in this front page itself, you can see this image, right? So can you tell me what is this image is about? Yeah, Odisha's Puri Jagannath temple. Especially it is showcasing about Rath Yatra, right? So whenever you are getting this type of images, you have to know some basic facts. Okay, so because there is a high chance of getting your prelims question and as well as mains question from this. So tell me, Mani, what do you know about this Puri Rath Yatra? Come on, tell me, you know something. You are laughing, tell me. Yes, tell me. What do you know? Then why are you laughing? Tell me something. Tell me something about this Puri Rath Yatra. కృష్ణుడా ఇంకా హార్టా చూసినావా నువ్వు? హ్యావ్ యూ సీన్ దట్? Okay, so let us see the facts, and this topic is important from which subject? Puri Rath Yatra. In which state? So it is related to which subject? GS paper 1 under art and culture, especially from fairs and festivals. Okay, we have this topic of fairs and festivals. And even we can connect this topic with our temple architecture, right? So in temple architecture, we have 3 types: Nagara, Dravida and Vesara. Okay, and even whenever you are studying about any temple, you have to see who built that temple and during which kingdom or which dynasty they developed that. Okay, from that point of view also you can expect question. So here now Jagannath Rath Yatra, it is annual Hindu festival. The annual means nothing but every year we will be having this festival, and we celebrate the journey of Lord Jagannath and his elder brother, who is nothing but Balabhadra, and sister goddess Subhadra from their home temple in Puri. Okay, so actually in this temple is nothing but in Hindus also there is one ritual that in this Ashad Mas or in this month of Ashad, so what happened, newly married couple if there means, so they will be taking their daughter to their house, right? So this is the thing which will be depicting in this Rath Yatra. Okay, so to fulfill her wish, Lord Jagannath and Lord Balabhadra decided to accompany her on a chariot ride. So these 2 people will be taking that so and so Subhadra to her home. Okay, so this is about this event especially, and this temple was built by King Anantavarman, who belongs to Choda Ganga Devi. Choda Ganga actually belongs to Ganga dynasty. Okay, so this is very important. Ganga dynasty and king is Anantavarman. So in this way also you can get question in your prelims, and even if you are preparing for CRPF or any state public service examination also. So this will be always there in news, so you will be getting question from this area. And this yatra will be last for 9 days, and yesterday is the last day. Okay, and you can see the facts of this 3. So first one is about Nandi Gosha, next Rath it is about Darpan Dalan, and next one is Tala Dwaja. So this big green and pink one is belonging to Lord Balabhadra, and pink one is about Subhadra's Ratha, and next one is Lord Jagannath. So in this way we have 3 Raths in this Rath Yatra, and you can see like lakhs of people, they will be visiting this. And if you move on to this another article, here you can see directly trade deficit widens 9.4% from a year ago as imports outpace exports. So you know about this trade deficit, right? So what is this trade deficit? Yes, imports exceeds exports. Okay, so what is the keyword? Trade deficit. So where we can connect? Yeah, economy, very good. GS paper 3, economy. So what are the dimensions you have to see here? What do you have to see? Trade means we have 2 components. So first one is imports and second one is exports. So here always we have to see 2 dimensions. Whenever imports are more compared to that of exports, what we call it as? Imports are more compared to that of exports. What we call it as? We call it as deficit. Money. Sit in your place. Sit in the first bench. Come here. Sit in the first chair. And whenever there are exports are more compared to that of imports, what we call it as? Surplus. Now we are facing this trade deficit. That means imports are more compared to that of exports, right? So here what you have to focus? So first one is, what is this trade deficit? You have to see this formula. And now why this trade deficit is there and what is its impact? So tell me why we will be having trade deficit in India? Why? Come on, at least try, no? Importing what? Importing what? Which goods? Specific. Be specific. Yes, gold. Okay. Gold imports. Apart from that, yeah, crude oil, not petroleum, crude oil. Yes, next. Actually, we will be exporting petroleum products, but we will be importing crude oil. We will be importing crude oil and we will be doing FD, fractional distillation, and we will be getting petrol, diesel, kerosene, and other naphthalene, etc. And we are good at exporting of these petroleum products. Yes, now tell me, which are the goods that we will be importing? Chips, electric chips. Yes, next. Chips or semiconductors. Next. Defense. Okay, defense equipments. Next. Okay, now let us see this. So actually this article is saying about the data, but there is no need of remembering any data. Here you can see 56 point, every month it will be going to change. So at the end of the day, how you have to tackle this data is, on which year you are writing your examination. 2025, somebody or there, you will write 2028, 2026. Okay, so in that year, obviously economic survey will be released and even budget will be released. So in that economic survey, you have to collect this data that will be authenticated. Okay, at least you have to take the data of 2 economic surveys. Okay, now let us see this in detail. So context says that India's trade deficit is widened by 9.4% increasing of trade deficit happened as imports increased compared to that of exports in the month of June. In the month of June, we are imported more compared to that of exporting, and total exports they record like $200.3 billion in the first quarter, and actually we had a hope of reaching of exports to $800 billion, but it is only $200 billion. So that what happened? So we have trade deficit and had been increased. So why? Because there is in this quarter one there is record exports. Okay, the record exports had been decreased. So whatever the thing we expected that we are going to export this much goods, but we did not reach that record exports. The first important reason. And also here across the world what happened, there is increasing of growth and as well as inflation is decreasing in other countries. So because of this also there is impact on our country's exports. So if there is no inflation there means there will be decreasing of prices there. So if the decreasing of the price in other countries happen, those country people they will be buying their country goods. Why they will buy Indian goods, right? So because of this reason there is decreasing of exports in India. So whenever you are writing an answer regarding inflation, what is its impact? So whenever inflation other countries is resolving means it will be having impact on our exports. So can you connect this point? Yes? Yes. And if you see other reasons, so whatever the export strategy that we are following, like our country is focusing on improving of exports. For this we have EXIM scheme, and for this we have production linked incentive schemes which is providing support to the manufacturing sector, right? So even we are focusing on especially 6 key sectors, exports need to be increased, but it is also not much up to the mark. And next one is, if you see this petroleum sector, so petroleum sector is worrying a lot, and especially in this petroleum exports, we had decreased to 18.3% this month. And next one is engineering and electronic goods. Yes, what are the target we have to export, and we reached this target of exporting of this engineering and electronics goods of 10 to 16%. And next one is pharmaceutical sector. Actually, I said that India is doing very good in this pharmaceutical sector, right? But unfortunately in the quarter one, so the exports had been not much strong here, okay, in this pharmaceutical sector, because recently, do you know this issue of cough syrup had been, Indian cough syrup, if we transport it or export it to other countries, in that countries, that led to death of children, especially in African countries. So because of that, yes, it is having impact on our pharmaceutical sector now. And next one is even petroleum sector had been decreased. So in this way, different sectors had been decreased their performance. So because of this, overall the widening of trade deficit had happened in India. Okay, so what is this trade deficit? Trade deficit is nothing but imports are more competitive of exports. This situation is called as trade deficit. And what happens in this trade deficit? Tell me. Trade deficit, what it implies? What it implies about economic growth? Will we have economic growth or not? So if we are increasing more imports, or if you are getting more imports, means what can we understand? In our country there is more demand for that goods, yes or no? So here we can understand there is a strong domestic economy with higher consumer demand. So because of increasing of demand, to meet that demand we will be getting those products. And next one here is currency valuation. So value of currency will be increased or decreased. Whenever exports are decreasing, imports are increasing, or value of currency increased or decreased? Increased or decreased? Say one, yes or no. Decrease or increase? Decreased, yes. So what happens? Trade deficit will be affecting the currency value. So there will be decreasing of currency of domestic, that is that domestic currency value will be decreased. And next tell me debt. Debt will be increasing or decreasing? Increase. So when we are getting more means we have to pay more. So if you are not having also, we have to borrow somewhere and we have to provide them. So what happens? Debt will be increase. So there will be increasing of countries' debt burden. And what about employment? Trade deficit, employment increase or decrease? I or D? I? I or D? Yes. So whenever we are exporting more means we will be producing more. So if we are not exporting more, we are getting directly the finished goods from other countries. So how can we provide employment here? So because of this, it is also affecting employment opportunities. So this is the implication. So if you are getting any question regarding, yes, trade deficit is increasing. So what will be the implications on Indian economy? So you have to address all these things, wide range, economic growth, how it is impacting, value of currency, how it is impacting, employment opportunities, okay, and livelihood opportunities, poverty, hunger, etc. You can add other dimensions also apart from this, okay. And read this question, which of the following best defines trade deficit? What is the answer? Trade deficit means? For how much time will you take? Yes, excess of imports over exports in a fiscal year. So take down the question, discuss the factors, take down the question. Take down the question. So discuss the factors contributing to India's persistent trade deficit and their implications for the economy. And I added one more thing, suggest some measures. So how can you write answer? In introduction you can write about, yes, trade deficit, and in the body you have to write, first one is factors here, and second one is implications, and third one is measures. There are three sub questions in the single question. Okay, factors, implications and measures. Done? No balance, it means no balance. It may be exports more compared to that of imports sometimes. So exactly it is saying that excess of imports over exports. In this point, you are saying that this point, right? Okay, physical deficit is money which is getting to the government. Trade is nothing but imports and exports. Okay, fiscal is about money. Trade is about imports and exports. Trade deficit is imports more compared to the exports. Fiscal deficit means whatever the revenue which is getting to the government minus expenditure of government. Yeah? Yeah, in the financial year. That is called a fiscal deficit. It is Trade deficit. Deficit means nothing but something which is low. Yeah, and next topic. In the city page, there is nothing much important. Have you gone through the paper? Same. Have you gone to the paper? Yes or no? Why? So in afternoon time, what you did? At least you have to go through, right? Yeah, here you can see one article. 8 persons applied for citizenship under CAA in Assam. So what is the keyword? Citizenship. Okay, so in your Lakshmikant, we have a separate chapter on the citizenship. So from which subject we can connect? GS paper 2 under polity, only polity? Only polity? So we came up with this CA Citizenship Amendment Act. So it is also having impact on society, which comes under GS paper 1 and 2. Because we are excluding Islam or Muslim. Only 6 communities. Which are those communities? Hindus, Christians, Buddhists, Parsis, Jains, 6. So for those 6 communities under this CAA, they will be getting citizenship. Okay, they will be getting citizenship under this CAA for those 6. So Islam had been excluded. And from which countries they will be getting citizenship? Afghanistan, Pakistan and Bangladesh. But whenever we are excluding this Islam, so that will cause outrage in society, right? So from communal violence point of view, you have to take that into picture. So here what exactly you have to refer? You have to refer about citizenship, how a person can acquire citizenship, what are the methods, and how a person can lose his citizenship, what are the ways. So from this ways, just you can remember the side headings, so that from that side headings itself you will be getting prelims and prelims questions especially. And you have to say what is the Citizenship Amendment Act and why government came up with the Citizenship Amendment Act. Okay, so those are the dimensions that you have to know. Already I gave mains question, I think so, earlier, past. Yes, right? Yeah. So again, there is one article regarding Karnataka's Zig Workers Bill. Already we had enough in discussion, so we are not going to take that. And even we had discussion on education to be added in the state list or not. Actually, education is under concurrent list. Okay. Yes, and this editorial we have an article. It is about Big Brother to Brother and Nepal-India reset. So why does India-Nepal is in news? Any idea? At least any guess? Okay, border issue. Yes, border issue is there, but why it is in news now? So recent elections happened in this Nepal, and Oli, he became Prime Minister of Nepal. So because of this, how we are going to have the relationship in the future, right? So I said no, whenever elections are there, whenever based on the which government or which political party will come into power, so we will be changing our foreign policy. This is example. Okay. So here what is the keyword, what you have to focus on? India-Nepal relations. Okay, you have to focus on India-Nepal relations. So where we can connect this? International relations comes under GS paper 2. And in this international relations, Nepal, are we sharing direct boundary? Yes, so it comes under India neighborhood. Okay, so here you have to focus on 2 important things always. So whenever any 2 countries are in news means you have to see which are the areas of cooperation. And next one is you have to see challenges between these 2 countries. So can you tell me what are the challenges between India and Nepal? India and Nepal relations, what are the challenges we have? I said border issue. So which are those areas? Can you tell me at least one area? 3 areas are there where we have dispute between India and Nepal. Sir, tell me. Tell me. No idea. Kalapani, write down. Kalapani region, Lipu Lake, and Limpiadura. So these are the 3 areas where we have border dispute between India and Nepal. Okay, Kalapani region and Lipu Lake and Limpiadura. And apart from that, can you tell me in which areas we have dispute between India and Nepal? Come on, think. If you see the geography, you can understand. Like map. Only border issue. Hydropower issue is there. Actually, here we are sharing boundary like this. Now, here we have Nepal and here we have India. So, actually the people who are present here, they are Madhesis and they have matrimonial relations with India. So, here from community wise also we have some issues. Okay, you have to remember at least 2 to 3 issues between each and every country where we are sharing the boundary. Okay. So what is the thing here which is given in this article is India-Nepal relations have been strained since 2015. So why in these 2015 the issues had been increased? Because in 2015 here Nepal, they want to come up with new constitution. In that new constitution, they want to include this regions. They want to come up with a new map, everything that happened between this India and Nepal from this 2015 onwards. And now here we got Oli again into power and we have to see how the future relations will be between India and Nepal. So here we are sharing this orange color part is Nepal. So if we're talking about the relations, why it had been strained is from 2015 adoption of Nepal new constitution, and this new constitution is opposed by India. And next one here is India's blockade on Nepal also led to a significant deterioration in relations. So actually Nepal it is moving towards China. So because of this, India led a blockade of trade. So this is also one important issue. And next one here is political stability is also not there in this Nepal. It is also one issue because India is always following this democracy and India will be supporting these democratic countries. And next one here is, as I said, whenever Indians are moving out of our country and entering into another country, if they start doing work there, they will be getting money and that money will be some amount will be sent back to the India for their parents. That is called as remittances. So here Nepal is very important for India for remittances. So most of the Indians, they go to Nepal and work, and Nepal is also sending remittances to India. So what happened? So it is also one of the factor that it is influencing our India and Nepal relations because diaspora is very important. So wherever India is going to live or to do something or to get education or anywhere, so it is our responsibility of government to take care of those people also. Right, so this is also one important interconnectedness between India and Nepal, and especially political class in Kathmandu faced challenges in standing on equal terms with Indian counterparts due to weak leadership. So actually in Nepal there is a weak leadership. So because of this weak leadership, so what are the challenges are there? So they didn't clearly demonstrate all these issues, and because of that this issue had been like a long standing between India and Nepal. Okay, and even trade agreements between India and Nepal are also influenced by some political decisions and as well as other countries' involvement like China between India and Nepal relations. So these are some issues between India and Nepal. And if you see clearly, I gave you here 7. Okay, 7 important issues between India and Nepal. First one is border dispute. I said about these 3 regions, Kalapani, Limpiadura and Lipu Lake. And next one is political interference. So always there will be like internal politics will be influencing, and apart from that, other countries' influence will be also seen. Especially China is interfering in this politics of Nepal. And next one is water sharing. So actually, if you see this Himalayan river system, so it is flowing between different countries. Like Indus will be flowing between India and Nepal, India and Pakistan, and like Ganga tributaries will be flowing between Nepal and India. So there is water sharing issues between India and Nepal regarding this Himalayan river system, and there are disputes regarding water utilization of these Himalayan rivers. And this one is economic imbalances. So Nepal is a landlocked country. So if you see this map clearly, so here, yeah, some part is there. Okay. So here we have Nepal, this orange color part. So India is having a very huge coastline, right? So it is having access to Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal, Indian Ocean. So whether this Nepal, do it have access? No. So whenever country which is surrounded by other countries which is not having any water body, then that country is called as a landlocked country. So here Nepal is an example of landlocked country. So because of this, it is dependent on India for trade. So this is also one important issue for Nepal. And next one is culture and people to people ties. So there are strong ties between India and Nepal, especially Madheshis, they are having matrimonial alliances with northern Indians. So that is also one important issue. So what happens here is always this quarreling will be going on. And next one here is infrastructure projects. So here we are focusing on development of connectivity projects, but whenever we are going for these projects, always there will be delays. On time we will be not getting any loans, and this projects will be taking like some years. Okay, so by the meanwhile, if the project is going to complete in 2 to 3 years, so because of delays, because of getting environment clearance and loans, everything, so it will be extended to 5 to 10 years. So by the meantime, the government will be changed in either India or Nepal. So because of this, that will be getting further. So this is also one important issue. And apart from that, Nepal is also Himalayan nation, right? So because of this, Himalayas, as we know, they are young and still active. They are not stable. So these regions are vulnerable to what? Landslides, earthquakes. So Nepal is having this disasters now and then. So whenever the disasters are happening in Nepal, India will be also going for rescue operations and helping. So in that also we are having some coordination issues between India and Nepal. Okay. So these are the challenges and dispute between India and Nepal. So take down the question. Take down the question. Discuss areas of cooperation. Discuss areas of cooperation and challenges between India and Nepal relations. Okay. So do some research and tell me which are the areas of cooperation between India and Nepal. Yes, see this article. The union budget as a litmus test of a rethink or status. So when we are going to have this budget on July 23rd, yes, this is the full budget of this year. So what is this litmus? Have you heard this word litmus? What is this litmus? It will test acids or bases. So how many colors we have? Red to blue. So in acids, which color is turned to which? Blue to red. Yes, blue to red acids and red to blue base. Yes, why it is saying that union budget is a litmus? Why we have to test? Is there any link between testing and our union budget and formation of new government? Think, you can do it. Come on, think. So if you see this title, it's saying that we have litmus is for testing something, you know. So why we are saying that union budget is testing and what it is testing? And we are going to have budget on July 23rd. I am giving you the hints. Come on, think and tell me. You can do it. No one will be there to ask you to think. Come on, tell me. Okay, I'll give you one more hint. So recently, when our election result had been declared on June 4th, so which government is got the majority? BJP alone? Is it a single party rule? We have coalition. So why coalition? So anyone had any thought of this Indian bloc will be getting that many seats? No one, right? But why this Indian bloc had got that many seats? Why now the formation of opposition party had there? So first time we have this leader of opposition in our parliament. So what might be the reason? So from last decade, like two times, so we had this Modi government. That means the people, they are not satisfied with the policies. Why? Can you tell me some examples? In which areas people had not satisfied? Inflation. Next. Corruption. Unemployment. Right? So now, finally, we got coalition government. So now, at least the present government need to address these issues where people are disagreeing with the past government. So because of this, we are calling this budget as a litmus test. We have to rethink. And based on that, here government need to come up with their own policies and it wants to make the people satisfied. Understood? Can you connect the dots? Are you making any sense? Okay. Okay, let us see this in detail and let us see what this article is talking about. So union budget is not about just revenue and expenditure. Normally when we discussed union budget, we discussed one flow chart, revenue and expenditure. Okay, revenue, capital expenditure, revenue expenditure, like that, no? So here this article is saying that now this union budget, it is not about just revenue and expenditure. It will reflect the policy and politics of the government now. So because of this election results, we understood that people, they are not just like idols or puppets. So because of increasing of technology, they are also understanding what is happening across the government. And based on that, they took this decision like which party they have to select. Okay. So here because of this election result, we can understand that voters are dissatisfied with the economic policies. So because of this now BJP party seats. So the seats of this BJP party had been reduced, right? So here what is the important problem? Why people dissatisfied? It is because of unemployment. Unemployment is a major campaign issue now. So now people are saying that yes, we need job creation. And even if you go to this Ashok Nagar Chaurasta itself, now also dharna is going on. Especially unemployed youth, they are doing that dharna. So if there is unemployment is created or if there is rising of unemployment, then what happens? It is like a time bomb. We don't know when it will burst, right? So that is the thing. And next one is we have MSME sector. MSME is nothing but micro, small and medium enterprises. So there is also contraction in this because of GST, because of demonetization, because of COVID-19. But on these areas, there is no proper special attention by the government because these MSMEs, they create employment. They are like employment engines, but they had been ignored. So because of this, employment creation had not happened in India. And next one is we are focusing on a policy that is shifting from generating of employment and as well as inclusive growth now. Okay. And next one here is what we have to do. We have to focus on MSME and we have to focus on especially low income groups for social and economic justice. So these people should not be these people should not be excluded. They should be included in the part of inclusive growth. And next one is our budget needs to address the challenges of employment, underemployment and income stagnation. So all these are the important points. Understood? Clear? Okay, and now let us move on to another page. So see this title, what it says. The toll that extreme heat takes on women. So what is this saying? Tell me, Mani. What is the meaning of that title? Extreme heat is happening, but it is having negative impact more on women. right? So which are the dimensions we can see here? First one is heat wave and how it is having impact on women. So from which subject we can connect heat wave? From GS paper 1 under geography, only geography. GS paper 3 environment and ecology, and also GS paper 3 DM disaster management. So wherever you will be getting geo and environment and ecology, we can connect this disaster management. So remember Vilas sir. Okay, Vilas sir will be teaching these 3 subjects. Okay. So geography is connected with environment and also disaster management together. And women means from GS paper 2 we have society and social issues. And even from GS paper 2 we have governance. Okay, from that point also we can connect. So what are the dimensions you have to see? Dimensions. First one is what is this heat wave? Next one is what is the criteria for plains and for hilly region? Yes or no? Number of times we discussed this topic in our news analysis in class. And next you have to see what are the reasons of these heat waves now. And recently from disaster management we discussed one article that is increasing of temperature in northern part. We are declaring it as a disaster. Yes. So can we add here? And you have to see what will be the impacts of this heat wave. So these are the dimensions you have to see. And if you connect with the women, so how this heat wave is having negative impact on women. Clear? So these are the things that you have to see. Okay. So what is the context? Context says that women is disproportionately impacted by extreme heat. So because of extreme heat, women are disproportionately impacted because there is unequal power. So there is no equal power between men and women. So women is having low power compared to that of men. So because of this unpower dynamics and because of gender norms in our society, and even women have unequal access to the resources. Because of all these problems that are inbuilt in our society, women are being more impacted. Okay, and if you see here the details, gender disparities exacerbate the impact of extreme heat on women. And because of this, what happened? What are the policies you're making by the government? We need gender sensitive policies. That means those policies need to address the problem of women. They are called as gender sensitive policies and interventions. And especially if you see in rural areas, we will be having informal settlements. So they do not have proper adequate cooling. For example, if you are staying in urban areas, we will be having ACs, coolers, inverters, etc. But those facilities will not be available in villages, right? So that is one important problem. Because of this, women are becoming more vulnerable. Especially in the rural areas, it is the responsibility of women to fetch the water, to do the work of, for example, cooking, washing, everything. So in this cooking area, will they have these ACs? Will they have these coolers? No. So because of this, women will be having more health risk compared to men because of the work they are doing. And next one is there is unequal distribution of unpaid care work. So who will do the care work for elderly people or like children? That is the woman. Woman is finally responsible. So even because of this unequal distribution of unpaid work, productivity loss will happen. So even in my case also, after class, I will be going to my home by night 9, no? So at that time also night 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, whenever my kids wake up and they will cry, I am the person to take care of. My husband will not take care. He will not even get up also. So that is one example that every day I will be not having any sleep after going from here. So here, yes, women are having unequal distribution of unpaid work. So it is a responsibility of women. So it is based on the societal norms. We can't change that. It will take some centuries to change that. If any change that comes from you guys. Okay. And next one is urban female informal laborers. They face multiple challenges like harsh weather condition, and even they will be having energy poverty. That means everyone will be not having access to this petrol and diesel. Okay. So they will be using like traditional bicycles also in some areas. So if you have petrol and diesel, and if you are having like modern bike, so you can reach place within minutes or within hours. But if you want to use this traditional cycles, it will be taking lot of time, and even you have to ride them. So there will be, you have to keep your, or you have to invest your own energy there. Okay. And even occupational settings, if some people who are working in the farming or farmer sector or allied sector, so they have to stay in the outdoors, and they will be getting more sun rays compared to the people who are sitting and working before computers, right? So that is the thing, and especially because of all these things, women health and well-being will be affected. And next one is heat strain is not only affecting women's physical health, but also it will be having impact on the maternal and child health outcomes. For example, if she is a pregnant and if she is going for grazing of animals, especially if she is doing any work in the agriculture, then what happens? There will be more dehydration. So because of this dehydration, the baby which is present in her womb will be also get affected. So here there will be effect on both the sides, multiple effects that we can see. And not only that, women in the rural areas are particularly vulnerable to heat stress because of cooking practices. So in my house also, we'll be still using these chulas. Like we'll be bringing the firewood, and by using that firewood, we'll be going for cooking. Okay, so because of this, women will be more affected, and even there are restrictive gender norms, and even women, they have to do prolonged outdoor work. So all these things which highlights, yes, women are going to have more effects, negative effects compared to that of men. Okay, so that is the thing which is given here. So here, because of this, whenever we are making any policy from governments and any laws or any schemes, so they have to give some support to women. They should be gender sensitive. So the keyword is gender sensitive. Okay, and if you move on to other pages, in this text and context, there is one word called as nishad. So do you know the meaning of nishad? Nishad. Nishad means lower caste. Okay. So nishad, it is a word which is talking about umbrella terms of dozens of lower caste in northern part of our country. So here you can get a question like, recently nishad is seen in news, what it is? It is belonging to the lower caste people. Okay, and in this news page there is one article. So India and Russia have doubled rupee ruble payment system in 2024. So I think sir discussed about this SWIFT payment system in your economy. SWIFT, yes. So Russia had been banned in that SWIFT payment system. It is international payment system. Because of that, now after that, we are not using this SWIFT payment system trade between India and Russia. We are using our local payment system, that is rupee ruble. So ruble is the currency of Russia and rupee is the currency of India. And we started this rupee ruble payment system, and we have doubled our payments in this 2024. It is as simple as that. And if you move on to other topics, yes, here you can see WPI inflation soars to 16-month high. So you know about this, right? There is no lot of explanation of WPI, what is inflation. You are perfect. Okay, that's it. That's it. So these are the important articles that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I'm concluding, and thank you so much guys. And one more announcement I want to make is, so we're also recording this Hindu analysis in Telugu version also, but it is posted in another channel, and that channel link is given in description box. So if you're from Telugu states, so you can join that channel, and don't forget to like this channel and as well as that channel, and please do share this video to your friends for sure. And this is the only way that you can appreciate our efforts. So try to like and share this video for sure, and do subscribe to Rathods IAS Academy. Thank you guys.